This is the Drake Passage, the world's most dangerous sea route that humans have been avoiding for thousands of years. Now, many people believe that the main purpose of building the Panama Canal was to connect the western coast of North America with South America and the rest of the world through a shorter route. And while that is true, it wasn't the only reason for building this canal. Another important reason for building the Panama Canal was that all ships wanted to bypass this 620 miles area between Antarctica and Cape Horn. This is the point where the Pacific, Atlantic, and Southern Oceans meet. But why is this area called the Drake Passage? And what makes this place so dangerous that even today, crossing it feels like crossing the Valley of Death? To find these answers, we need to go back into the 15th century when a British pirate named Francis Drake terrorized the Atlantic Ocean. At that time, the British and Spanish empires were competing for global dominance. Francis was not an ordinary pirate. Instead, he had direct support from the British Empire. With this support, he would launch attacks on African cities, loot them, and bring their people as slaves to Britain. The British Empire was very pleased with Francis, and they decided to send him to South America to break Spanish Empire's dominance. The plan was that Francis would conquer the cities and villages on the eastern coastline of South America, then enter the Strait of Magellan and attack the villages on the western coastline of South America, gradually bringing them all under British control. During this campaign, he was allowed to loot any cities he wanted, because the sole interest of the British Empire was to bring the entire coastline of South America under British control. In December 1577, Drake set out on his journey with 200 people on 5 ships. By April, he had reached Argentina when a mutiny broke out among his crew. Drake executed about 40 of the rebels in Argentina and then continued his journey on the remaining 3 ships. As he crossed the strait and entered the Pacific Ocean, a fierce storm hit, causing the 3 ships to lose sight of each other. The crew of one ship assumed that Drake might be dead and decided to sail back to England. The second ship got separated in the storm and ended up in the Drake Passage, where it disappeared without a trace. Drake, while trailing the second ship, reached the edge of the Drake Passage. But when he saw the treacherous waters ahead, he realised that going any further would only mean certain death. Back then, no one knew what lay beyond, because the world map wasn't anything like the one we have today. Drake turned his ship around and headed toward the western coast of South America, raiding settlements along the way until he reached San Francisco. He avoided returning to Britain through the same route, fearing that if he got trapped in those deadly waters again, he might not survive. This treacherous stretch of sea was later named the Drake Passage, as Drake was likely the first to spot it, though he never actually crossed it. He told his closest companions that he believed there could be another world beyond the ocean, or perhaps an undiscovered island where no one had ever set foot. The island that Drake was referring to was actually Antarctica. For centuries, humans had believed that there was a continent here. The ancient Greeks called it Terra Australis Incognita, meaning the unknown southern land, but no one had ever seen it with their own eyes. In the 17th century, the British explorer Captain Cook set out to explore this southern continent. He crossed the entire Atlantic Ocean and entered the South Ocean, but he didn't see Antarctica. On his way back, his ship got stuck in the Drake Passage, and he barely managed to escape alive. Despite being one of the greatest explorers of his time, Captain Cook never returned to these waters. He is best known for discovering New Zealand, an incredible story we'll be covering soon. In his journal, Cook wrote that the dangers of exploring the southern continent were so extreme that few would dare to reach the point where he had ventured. But what makes the Drake Passage so dangerous? After all, there are many places where oceans collide, so why is this one so uniquely dangerous? The Drake Passage is actually the point where the cold waters of Antarctica meet the warm waters of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. And as a result of this confluence, the water flow reaches 200 million cubic yards per second. To understand how significant this flow is, consider this example of Amazon River, which is the most powerful river in the world, yet its flow is 600 times less than that of the Drake Passage. Due to this meteoric flow, the ocean waves here can reach heights of up to 60 feet, which is extremely dangerous for any seafaring vessel. Due to the convergence of warm and cold waters, this area experiences frequent cyclones, and the temperature here can drop as low as -5 degrees Celsius because of the cold water from Antarctica. Furthermore, this point is also one of the most remote areas in the world. Just below this point lies Antarctica, an uninhabited frozen wilderness, and above it a treacherous ocean. So if your ship gets stuck here by any chance, it means you are on your own. Recognizing these dangers, Captain Cook strongly advised the world to abandon the idea of exploring the southern continent. But human nature is such that the more we are warned about something, the more we feel compelled to seek it out, and that's exactly what happened. opened. In the early 20th century, there was a craze for explorations and discoveries everywhere. All explorers now had their eyes set on the South Pole. In 1914, the renowned British explorer Ernest Shackleton decided to explore Antarctica. While crossing the Atlantic Ocean, when he reached near the Drake Passage, the ocean waves pushed his ship into a glacier, and his ship was completely destroyed. Ernest and 20 of his companions were stranded on the ice. Ernest took 5 of his companions with him in a small lifeboat to search for a nearby island where they could seek help. After a month of wandering in the sea, Ernest finally reached South Georgia Island. He described the experiences he had during this month in the following words: "This is the worst and most dangerous part of our world's oceans, and reaching this island is nothing short of a miracle." Ernest also said that Antarctica is the last great journey left to man. In the next 3 months, Ernest's remaining companions were rescued in multiple attempts, and miraculously, no one lost their life. Similarly, in April 2012, a Brazilian businessman, João Lara, was passing through here on his luxury cruise ship with 4 people to make a documentary film when suddenly a storm hit, and 100-foot-high waves lifted the ship and threw it into the Antarctic ice. Luckily, the ship's radio was working, and they immediately sent a rescue appeal to Chile. But the weather was so bad that it took the Chilean rescue team 4 days to reach there, but everyone was eventually rescued. Over the past decade, numerous incidents have occurred in this treacherous region. While modern sea vessels have significantly reduced the frequency of disasters compared to ancient times, ships still avoid this route whenever possible. Instead, they opt for the narrower Strait of Magellan, despite its own unpredictable weather, where thick fog, strong winds, and freezing temperatures can strike at any moment. Yet despite its challenges, the Strait of Magellan is still considered a safer option than the Drake Passage. Before the construction of the Panama Canal, all commercial ships heading to Western South America and North America relied on this route. However, after the canal opened, it was largely abandoned. Now, with the Panama Canal facing serious threats, the Strait of Magellan is becoming busy once again. We will soon make a video to explain why the Panama Canal is in trouble. The Drake Passage remains one of the most treacherous places on Earth, yet it plays a crucial role in our planet, serving as the gateway through which Antarctic waters flow into the world's oceans. It also stands as a powerful reminder that despite all our technological advancements, we are still at the mercy of nature. If you liked this video, please subscribe this channel. It may be a small thing for you, but it gives us a lot of motivation. Stay tuned for the next video in which we will cover another interesting topic.